Welcome back to Sparklight. So last time we spoke, I think it was right after the Liberty loss, in which the Sparks lost to the Liberty. And I made the statement that I expect for them this week to go 3-0. They did the opposite. They went 0-3. Candace Parker did come back. She came back on actually the Mystics game. That they played on, I think it was Tuesday. So right after I spoke to you guys, or right after, like I said, I spoke to you guys, that game played and it was bad. It was by far the worst loss of the season. The Sparks lost 81-52. But I think in that game you kind of gotta not expect that to happen, because you don't ever want to expect to lose by, 29 points is that? So I don't think you ever want to, expect that to happen. But I do think that, you have to realize that, with it being Candace's first game back, she hadn't played in literally I don't think she's played basketball in probably 8 months. Probably since the WNBA season last ended, she probably hadn't played basketball. So you got to understand that. You can, get on the treadmill all you want. You can, play scrimmages all you want. You can, try to simulate game intensity all you want. But it's really, really hard to do that until you actually get into a game and go play. So she definitely looked rusty. I felt that more than her offense and her finishing, which was, not the best, which hasn't been the best since she's been back. It's more so the defense. I think that the Sparks have always been historically a pretty good defensive team, especially in recent years. So what's troubling to me right now is the defense. I see them a lot of times. I've never seen, besides the Wizards last year, I've never seen so many shooters open. Literally, every play, somebody, because again, I think a lot of it is they hedge, they ice a lot, but then they don't get back to the, the hedgeman has to also get back to the shooter, and they don't do that. Or they over help and, somebody will pop up open. I've never seen so many shooters just end up open. So that's one thing that they definitely have to clean up. But again, I wasn't going to kill them for the Mystic game. Again, it was, her first game back. You got to even think about it like this, man. It's an adjustment for everybody, even for Chelsea Gray, somebody who's used to, having the ball in her hands much more. And then, the Candace comes back and literally the whole entire offense completely changed. It didn't look anything like the offense I saw in the first 7 games. It looked nothing like it. I don't know if you guys check out my Pappy's Daily Hot Takes, but if you listen, I said that they should use Candace Parker a lot like the Nuggets use Jokic. I think that she needs to be, at the top of the key, making plays. That her usage rate needs to be 27, 28. She's probably the best playmaker on the team. Chelsea's probably the most exciting playmaker. She's, the flashiest. Her passes would probably end up on top 10 countdowns. But as far as seeing the floor and her vision, I think Candace is, the best playmaker on the team. So a lot of the offense needs to run through her. But that's adjustment for everybody. Even in that game, they had Sinead, Nneka, Candace, Tierra, and Chelsea starting with Sydney off the bench. In my humble opinion, I say that I think the starting lineup moving forward needs to be Chelsea Gray, Elena Beard, Sydney Weiss, Nneka, and Candace Parker. In my humble opinion. Or you know what? I don't mind Tierra, because Tierra also has been showing, before the season, she was more so known as a defensive stopper. But she's been showing recently that she really does have some offensive capabilities. You can't just leave her open and think that she can't knock down the open shot. She definitely can do that. So again, I don't mind Tierra starting, but I just think Sydney brings certain things to the game that I don't know if anybody else does from the guard spot. I think that, again, I said it since day one. I think that her impact will be shown more in like the plus minus than it would be on like the stat sheet. I mean, even in the Mystic game, she had 12 points. She had a assist. She had 3 rebounds. I felt that in the first quarter, there was a stretch in which they cut it down to 10, and then they ended the quarter badly. But I thought that she was like a catalyst to kind of like jump-started the team. So yeah, I just really love what she brings to the game. But again, like I said, I wasn't gonna kill him for that loss. Even Delle Donne didn't have the greatest game. She did have 15. It was like the quietest 15 rebounds I've ever seen in my life. But she had 15 rebounds after 3 quarters. I was there watching it. I had no idea she had 15 rebounds after 3 quarters. But Nneka did a great job on her defensively. In back-to-back nights, in back-to-back games, she had Tina Charles and she had Delle Donne. Neither one of them had a great offensive game. So, again, I wasn't going to kill them for that. I mean, the turnovers were wild. They had 26 turnovers. They shot 28% from the field, 15% from 3, 61% from the line. They did out-rebound the Mystics, which is, I don't know how. And they also took as many shots as the Mystic, even though they turned the ball over 26 times. I also don't know how. But again, I didn't think that game, again, it was bad. It was the worst loss of the season. But when I was watching it, I was like, you know what? You kind of gotta, again, you don't expect to lose by 29 points, but you kind of gotta expect there to be some, period of adjustment, especially with your star player coming back, and pretty much the whole entire way you run the offense changes on the fly, and you really don't have any practice time. Like, again, like I said, they're on a 4-game losing streak. If I'm not mistaken, they maybe had 1 practice. So they're literally figuring it out on the fly. It's not like they get a whole lot of time to, go sit down, watch film, dissect it, then take it to the court and, implement some new things. They're really just like going to the game and just like figuring it out as they go, which that's the issue with people getting hurt mid-season or people coming back mid-season, especially when, I think there's 34 games that they play in the WNBA. They've played at this point, I want to say 10. That's the issue. So you got, what is that, like 24, 26 games, something like that left. But it's really hard to implement people back into the offense and back into the defense when you don't even have that much practice time. And moving on, after that, they played the Seattle Storm. I thought it couldn't get worse. It actually did get worse. That game, again, they shot 37% from the field. They shot 28% from 3. They had 14 turnovers, which is better. But then you move down to the Storm, they let them shoot 53% from 3. So they have a real issue right now with getting out to shooters. I think a lot of that is like, again, I mean, I hate to say it, but I just think that Candace is still working her way back into game shape. And I think that when it's kind of slightly throwing off everybody defensively. But even still, like, even the game they played against the Liberty in which they lost, I think the Liberty scored 98 points. Like, in a WNBA game, there's no reason for a team to score 98 points. Granted, they did score 91. I think it was 93 in that game. But the other team did score 98. So, again, they've had some problems defensively already this season. And I think that, adding her back, obviously, again, she hasn't played basketball in forever. She has to get, implemented back into it, has to get her conditioning right, get her lungs underneath her. I think that, it changes the defense a little bit. And I think that you're just seeing the effects of it right now. In that game, that was Elena Beer's first game back. So even still, she doesn't even look like the, back-to-back defensive player of the year. She doesn't even look like that yet. She looks like she's still getting her lungs underneath her. And that's just the unfortunate part, when you don't have 82 games and you do have 34 games. It kind of like speeds up everybody's timetable. But sometimes these things just take time. And again, I mean, Chiney, she came off the bench in this one. So they made the proper lineup adjustment that I think that they needed to make. But even for her, she's been starting all year, and now you coming off the bench. That's an adjustment. Also, the last game they played, which was against, the Phoenix Mercury, I don't think Alexis Jones has played in like 3 straight games. She comes in and gets significant playing time and looks great. And I don't think Kalani played in that game. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Sydney played in the Mercury game. Sydney and Kalani didn't play in the Mercury game. And Alexis ended up playing 15 minutes. I mean, she was a +1. She looked great, but she hadn't played in like 3 games. So again, I think that when you look at what's going on with this team again, I'll be getting mad tweets like, oh, they gotta fire Derek. His schemes aren't working. This is like all of his fault. No, I'm not gonna put it all on Derek. Obviously, he has to figure out what rotations that he's going to stick to. Again, like you can't have, because they probably don't even know coming into the games sometimes who's even going to play. Like again, Alexis hadn't played in 3 nights. She comes in against the Mercury and looks completely revitalized. She was playing pivotal minutes down the stretch against the Mercury. So I think look, he has to figure out some things. He has to try some different things. Like they sometimes a lot trap on the perimeter. I don't think that maybe you need to do that. Maybe they need to, I don't want to say switch because they already have trouble rebounding. And if you switch, that leads to mismatches in the post. And then, you might have like a Chelsea Gray on like a Jonquel Jones, which, and like, again, they've already had issues, rebounding. So you don't want to complement those issues by doing something like switching. That's the issue with switching. Like, you do give up a lot of rebounds because, again, the people that would normally be down in the paint to get the rebounds are on the perimeter defending guards. But I think that at least for the time being, they need to at least figure out a way that they can better effectively cover shooters, because what they're doing right now isn't it. This is not the wave. This is not. And also the reason why I'm not gonna put it all on Derek is because like sometimes it just looks like they just need to play harder. I think that every time Raquana's in the game, she gives maximum effort. Maximum effort. Like there was even a play in which I think it was the Mystic game in which she jumped up and literally got flipped over, hopped back up, kept coming. She gives a maximum effort. I think Sydney always gives a maximum effort, but I think that at like a certain point in time, if this losing streak continues, they have the Aces on Thursday. Let's see who they have after the Aces. Let me check for you guys. The Aces is definitely gonna like that. They have the Aces, then the Sky, then they have the Mystics again, the Wings, the Fever, the Dream. So look, they have some winnable games, but realistically, if they don't get this figured out, this could turn into like a 6-game slide. And right now, the Sparks are 4th in the West. The Storm are 7-4. Surprisingly, Sue Bird isn't playing yet. Also, Breanna Stewart is out with the torn Achilles. But again, they did win the championship. Like, you don't win a championship with just 2 players. But still, for them to be in the position that they're in with 2 of their best players missing, still shocking, surprising. You have to, commend that team for what they're doing. The Aces 5-4, the Lynx 5-5, the Mercury 3-5, which is why I thought the Mercury is a bad loss. Like they played better in that game, but they didn't put together a full 48 minutes. But again, I thought that was a bad loss. And the Wings sit at 2-6. Moving on towards the East, the Suns sit at 9-2. The Mystics 7-3, Chicago 6-3, the Fever 5-6, Liberty 3-7, Dream 2-7. So again, coming up, they have an Aces team, which is gonna be tough, but it's a winnable game. The Sky gonna be extremely tough. Again, they right now sit at 6-3. That's gonna be tough. But then you have, then after that you got the Mystics again, and you have the Mystics actually. No, that'll be back in LA. Then you have the Wings on the road, the Fever on the road, the Dream on the road, then back in LA for the Wings. So look, they have their work cut out for them. All is not lost, but again, with 24 something games left, you can't afford to have this slide get to 6 games, 7 games, 8 games, because, at that point, look, there's already been a lot of, talk again. Like, I get tweets every day talking about, like, oh, Derek this, Derek that. Again, I like Derek. I think that Derek has a chance to be a legend in this league. I think that it's not like coaching in, the NBA. I think that maybe he even got a little bit surprised and blindsided by the fact of, who's not in camp and just, how long it may take. Like, the pace he would usually use to implement things has to be sped up times 3. Like in, the NBA, training camp is like a month. The season is 82 games. So, I mean, look, the first 10 games of the season really don't mean shit. Like, I mean, even, the Rockets last year, I think, started off like 3 I think they started off 1-6 or something like that. And like at a point where 14th in like the West, ended up winning 54 games. And the WNBA, you don't really have time to do that. Like from day one, you got to hit the ground running because you don't get too much time. But again, I still have faith that they'll get it turned around again. Like even when I saw the Mercury game, now granted, I didn't. Unfortunately, we were, recording Hoops and Brews, so I didn't get to see, the full entire game. But I did watch all of the highlights, and from what I saw, Candace looked to be moving better. She looked to be seeing the floor better. I mean, she made some incredible passes. I thought that the entire team seemed to share the ball more and seemed a little bit more sure of their role. Also, putting Alexis Jones in definitely improved their guard play. Because one thing I do know is like the roster right now is constructed where like they have a lot of bigs, like a lot of them, but the guard play has really been the question all year. Like, who starts, who should be the first 2 guards off the bench. I guess they're kind of figuring it out. I can't see too many games in which Kalani and Sydney don't play at all, period. But again, like I love the way Alexis played. She had 8 points. She had only 1 turnover, which is huge. She knocked down a 3 of 5 from the field. Then you go to Marina. She was a +5 actually. She had 4 points, 4 rebounds. She didn't make any of her threes, but again, with her, I don't get mad when she misses threes or like when she misses shots. I just appreciate the fact that she has the confidence to take them. Because what that does is it opens up the offense for everybody else. Like if they know she's gonna shoot the ball, and she's not, obviously, again, she was the all-time leader at Notre Dame women's for 3-pointers. If they know she's gonna shoot the ball, eventually those shots are gonna fall, and they have to get out there and they have to contest them, and that opens up the floor for Nneka. Also, I saw Nneka in the post more, especially in the first quarter. Like she made some. She's a very, very solid post player, and I don't think that you've seen that. Like, if you're new to this team, you might think that she's a stretch 4, which she can do that, but she's a really, really good post player, and I don't think that you've necessarily seen that so much so far throughout the year. But again, that's also why I said that I think they need to utilize Candace like Jokic. I think that they need to play 4 out. I think they can, put Nneka or Janae down in the post and just play 4 out. I think that they have the capabilities to do that. Again, Chelsea can hit a shot. Tierra can hit a shot. Sydney can hit a shot. Marina can definitely space the floor. She will pull it from anywhere. Raquana can hit a shot. I think they need to play 4 out. I think they'll figure it out. I mean, even like off the bench, Janae gave you 12 points. She gave you 5 rebounds. And again, they also out-rebounded the Phoenix Mercury. Again, I don't think that the game against Phoenix was bad. Again, I just don't think that they still haven't put together a full 48 minutes since Candace has returned. But again, she's looking better every game. The team looked better. And again, I think they'll figure it out. I know there's a lot of people panicking. I think everybody involved or invested in the Sparks is panicking, besides like probably, now granted, I haven't been to practice yet, so I can't, too much speak towards the atmosphere of the team. I'll know more this week. I'm sure they'll have practice tomorrow or Wednesday. They might get even in 2 practices before the Aces game, which would be great. again, they haven't had much playing time, practice time, which I think has really, really affected them a lot. And also, Maria is gonna be coming back soon, so you had to implement her into the offense and defense. But I do think Maria will be a huge help. Besides Nneka, she might be their best big. I don't really consider. I mean, Candace is a big, but I don't really consider her like traditional big. She's like, her size would say she's that, but her skill, like, she has a lot of like KD type principles about her. So I wouldn't consider her a traditional big. But besides Nneka, Maria might be their best big, and that's what they're missing with her not being out there right now. And I think that she will help a lot when she does get back from Europe. But again, I think that everybody is panicking besides them. I think that, granted, I don't know because I wasn't there and like I didn't ask him. But I think that if you ask Derek and if you ask the team how they felt about the Mercury game, I think that they'll tell you that they felt good. I mean, again, they shot 37% from the field, 34% from three. So the shot is improving every game, and I think the shot is improving every game because they have a better understanding of where everybody should be and have a better understanding of sharing the ball to get the best shot and not just a shot. You know, like a decent shot will always be there. You can take a decent shot at any point in time in the shot clock, but it's about taking the best shot and about not passing up shots when you are open. You know, like there was a lot of times in which I saw in like the Mystic game in which, you know, Sydney will make a great move, get to the paint, and then she pass up the shot. Or Chelsea would play a little bit like, again, I love her one-on-one capabilities. I think that her along with Raquana are some of the best shot creators in the league, but that doesn't mean that all the time you need to do it yourself. And I felt that like a lot of times, especially in the Mystic game, which was obviously the first game back. I mean, even in the Storm game, felt like a lot of the times the players felt a little bit too empowered to try to do everything on their own. And I think that what you saw against Phoenix was a better understanding of, you know, trusting your teammates, again, where everybody should be, where your shots are going to come from. Because, again, when Candace comes back, again, like if you're used to Chelsea, you know, being the main facilitator and being the catalyst of the offense, and then Candace comes back, and, you know, you had Nneka and you had Janae, and they're playing more in the post or, you know, the mid-range area. But then you got Candace comes back, and she's all on the perimeter. And, you know, that then everybody else is more spread out. And you got one person down there. Like, people don't even know where exactly their shots are going to come from. So if they want to go to shoot around and be like, yo, like, I know my shot is coming from the corner. For instance, if you play on the Rockets, you know what you have to do is practice your corner threes and your wing threes, because those are shots you're going to get. PJ Tucker, literally, when he walk into practice, probably just shoots corner threes and leaves, because he knows these are where my shots are coming from. I think if you'd have asked him, you know, after the Mixers game or after the Storm game, I don't even think that they know where their shots are coming from. I think that if you go and you ask them now after the Mercury game, I think that they have a better understanding of, again, where their shots are coming from. At this point, it's just about putting it together for 48 minutes. So, again, looking forward, I'll be very, very interested to see what they do against the Aces. I think it's a big game, probably for them. No, not even probably. This is the biggest game of the season for them so far. Look, you can't lose 5 straight. 5 straight, literally, you might drop to, at that point, I don't know if you're going to drop to 5th, but you may be tied for 5th. I mean, look, the Mercury are right now 3-5. They have the Fever on Friday, which is a very winnable game. Then they have the Storm, which they might catch an L to the Storm, but then the Liberty, then the Dream, then the Mystics might catch an L, the Sun, probably an L, the Lynx. But also, Diana Taurasi is coming back. Granted, it's going to take her some time. She's not just going to, you know, hop back in and hop back to being the Diana Taurasi that we all know and love, but she is coming back. So again, you don't want to put yourself in a situation in which you fall too far behind the A-ball and lose too many games in a row. Like this, like you've played 10 games and right now you sit at 4-10 and you're 4th in the West. So I think that this is the biggest game of the season for them. It's probably going to be one of the most watched games as well. A rematch against Vegas. I think that especially with the way, Vegas kind of took it to them in the first game of the season, you kind of want to get some get back, and it's also a great game to make a statement in. I suspect that I think Candace will have her best game. Again, like, she's gotten 3 games underneath her belt now. Again, I think she even has a better understanding of what, she needs to do. Again, like, I think they need to use her like Jokic. When I watched her play against the Mercury, I felt like she was used a lot like Jokic. And I love some of the looks that she was creating. She created a lot of open looks for people. I think that's something that I can't see why that wouldn't continue. I think that that's something that, will again, continue. And I think that they know better where their shots will come from. Like I said, they'll probably have, at that point, 2 practices under their belt. But, so I really suspect that Candace will probably have her best game of the early season so far in this Aces game. And look, it's going to be tough, but I personally expect a victory. And if not, literally, I think that would be when you need to have a team-only meeting and kick the coaches out, kick everybody out, and have a real come-to-Jesus discussion and challenge everybody woman to woman. Because, again, everybody got to, share some blame at this moment. If it continues the way it continues, Derek got to share some blame. Like, look, I understand, everybody ain't in camp. You got people coming in and out. But at some point, you got to adjust and you got to, do some things differently. So he would have to get some blame. And also, the players got to get some blame. Because, again, even with defense is somewhat, it's about scheme. It's about all of that thing, all of that. But if you letting the team shoot, what did the Storm shoot? Make 100% sure. If you letting the team shoot 53% from 3 as a team with 2 of their best players not playing, that's on you. I'm sorry. That's not on the coach. That's on you. At some point in time, you got to take it upon yourself to close out better. You got to take it upon yourself to be more aware defensively. That's not on Derek. That's on you. That's not on the coach. The coach can only do so much. The coach can put this, like, look, if you know you hedging, know you icing, know you trapping, it's on you to be aware and know I got to get back to the shooter. I can't put all that on Derek. That's on you. 27 turnovers, I can't put that on Derek. That's on you. You turned that ball over. Not the plays. The plays the man called didn't make you turn it over 27 times. You turned the ball over 27 times. That's on you. You got to fix that. So at that point, if this continues to slide, everybody got to get some blame. I don't want to hear, we got to fire Derek. No. Look, I think that no matter how this season plays out, I think Derek needs to at least get 2 to 3 years. Because, again, I think he may have gotten blindsided about certain things. Look, it's your first year coaching in a whole new league. The WNBA is not the NBA. Certain things work differently. Not everything is the same. For instance, how much time you get to implement things is different. So I can't put all that on that man. So again, I think that he would need to get 2 to 3 years to, get used to some things, see what works, see what doesn't work, reevaluate and take it from there. But also, again, this on the players as well. You getting blown out by more than 20 points is back-to-back nights is on you. I'm sorry. That ain't on the scheme. That's on you. That's on you. But look, I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to bury the team. Again, it's getting late, but it's still early. That might be the name of this episode. It's getting late, but it's still early. But again, man, I got faith that they'll get it together, and I got faith that, next time we link up and we talk about the Sparks, that I'll be singing a much different tune. And the offense and most importantly, the defense will look a lot better than what it has looked in these past 3 to 4 games. So, man, it's been Sparklight. Again, appreciate all of you guys for all the support that you've shown. Shout out all of you guys. I've seeing a lot of people paying way more attention to the WNBA. Even, if you tweet me things saying that you disagree or saying, that you won't fish out of there or the Sparks need to play harder. Even though it's ridicule, at least you watching and you got an opinion, and that's what the women's game needs. Again, it's some of the greatest athletes in the world, and they deserve to have their league watched, because if you love basketball, it's really, really good basketball. So again, until next time, appreciate all you guys, and go Sparks. You got me up so high, going down my mind for you. You got me up so high.